All right, this is going to be part two of the Booster Bench series. We're going to be making the stretcher in this episode. So if we take a look at the stretcher, it really looks like it kind of looks like the leg, except a lot shorter. It's going to start as a rectangle, and we're going to put an arc in it. We're also going to put some holes in it. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Um, I need I need to add another part to this file. So I'm going to click on the plus sign and I'm going to create a part studio. And let's go ahead and start by renaming that. We're going to say Booster Bench Stretcher. All right. And again, let's draw it like it's going to be used. It's going to be used on this front view. You see how this is sitting just like so. So I am going to hide some of these work planes. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to put a sketch on the front plane. Once the sketch is on, I'm going to use the rectangle command. And looking at my plans, the length of the stretcher is 12.5 and the height is 2.5. I started from my origin, always start from the origin. And I'm going to turn off this front view now that I'm done with it. Let's go ahead and add the arc that is on the bottom. So again, I can use a three-point arc. I'm going to give it 2 points to start and end from, and I'll just adjust the arc size here in a minute. The radius of the arc is 11.75. And using shortcut key letter D, I can dimension the spacing to be 1.5 inches. And I've got two different profiles. And so when I click on my green check mark and I go to extrude, I'm just going to make sure I pick the top one. Again, I like to flip it back, extrude backwards. It's just my personal preference. And that's going to be 0.75. And I'll hit the green check mark. Before we get too far down the road here, let's go ahead and pick a color. I think I chose yellow for the leg, so maybe I'll use green. There we go. So we've got yellow and green. Now let's add, see if you can remember this from the leg. We're going to add 2 points on the leg on the top. Okay. To add points, we're going to add a sketch to the top. And I'm going to look at this from the top view. It's going to be a little easier because when I add my point, now I can get to the middle and drag it over. So I know there's going to be a point in the middle right there. And same thing here. There's my midpoint. And it found the other point and put that in the middle. Now these points, these aren't going to be countersink holes. These are going to be just holes to help me, in the shop. In reality, these would be pre-drilled so that it doesn't split. I want to make these 1.75 inches. .75 inches away from either edge. I'll finish that. And I'm still using a hole command. I'm still using a hole command. I can select these 2 points, but this time, instead of countersink, I want just a simple hole. And you can see it's going to change to be just a hole, right? You can see through it. Now, right now, it's going all the way through. And that's not good. I don't want to go all the way through. So I'm going to go ahead and tell this to not be through all, but to be blind. Blind just means I'm going to have it go a specific depth. And that depth is going to be 1 inch. So it's already set up at 1 inch. I'm going to hit the green check mark. And again, there we can see it doesn't go all the way through. In fact, if I were to look at this from the front view, and if I were to change my visual style to hidden edges, there you can see those holes on the right and the left. I'll turn that back to shaded. All right. That is the booster bench stretcher. There is one additional thing that we forgot about. Shame, Mr. Rue. How did you forget about that? Those same pilot holes need to be put on either end. So we're going to go ahead and really do the exact same thing we did, where we're going to add a sketch. We're going to add a couple points in the middle. Those dimensions will be the same on either side by 0.75 for the first one. And 2 for the second. I should be able to actually add these before I make the holes on the other side. Usually when I say that, I wished I wouldn't have, but we're going to give it a try. In fact, look at that. I can see where those are at, but they're not letting me snap to them. So I will have to dimension 0.75 and 2. All right. Now these 4 points are going to be just like the top ones. So let's choose hole. I'm going to go ahead and choose all 4 of them. They're simple, they're blind, they're 1 inch. Hit my green check mark. And now when we choose hidden edges, look at that. There's all those holes in there. And that lets me see that if these were interfering with each other, I would have to move probably this hole over more, so that wouldn't happen. We wouldn't want 2 screws hitting each other. But that is the stretcher, and that is the end of part 2.